As Paul Harvey would say, good afternoon. Kind of a serious topic today, and it's about Donald Trump. I think most of us, if not all, have voted for Donald Trump. And we had complete trust in him. We liked what he had to say. He was going to make America great again. He was going to end 2 wars. And he could do it in 24 hours. Well, we knew that necessarily wasn't going to come to true about the 24 hours. And so we gave him some leeway there. And I thought if we cut the weaponization of Israel and the Ukraine, that without guns and bullets and rockets and dollars, that they would settle that thing. But that's not the case. And for whatever reason, Donald was not able to do that. So we have a question of why. He hasn't cut off the weapons to either one of those parties. In fact, he's given more. And after all the blood that's been shed and the billions of dollars we have spent, over $250 billion, our money, $250 billion. And both countries, both Israel and Ukraine, is in worse conditions than when Donald Trump came into office. And now both of them are losing the war. And instead of finding words to use to put an end to the fighting and the dying and the bloodletting and the dollar bleedings in there, we don't have a president that's seeking peace as much as he is funding dollars and money to those horrible, horrible wars. And in spite of all of this, billions of dollars with military aid and our secret advisors and technology that's being used on both of those wars, the question of integrity and honesty comes into view. And I don't know what the problem is with Donald Trump, if he's playing 4D chess or whatever. But on the chessboard, the masters don't tantalize their opponents. They concentrate on the game to get it completed, and it's a game. And we should be concentrating on the wars, getting them completed and stopped. And that's where the honesty comes into it again. Bringing honesty. Donald, we thought, was going to bring honesty and integrity back to the White House. Making America first. Making America great again. And if your memory serves us right, we go back and you think of all the wonderful speeches and the like that he gave. And he was able to win over Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Don Bongino, all these great Americans that went to bat for him. And the mega people like us, like myself, I voted for Donald Trump. The main reason was to end 2 wars and to return honesty and integrity to the White House, to our government. It's been, 6 months since he's been president. He's making progress, making deals, but he's not making peace. I sense there's a sea change in the wind. Or does the wind of the sea change really in the wind and in the politics. And many of us Trumpsters are at the side, rather confused a little bit. It reminds me of the song Mrs. Robinson. Oh, dear Mrs. Robinson, where did you go, Joe DiMaggio? Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo-hoo-hoo. What's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Juttin' Joe has left and gone away. Hey, 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 Donald Trump. Did you leave and go away? We need your honesty, Donald Trump. You're at the helm, Donald Trump. You claim to be one of the greatest presidents. Well, let's not forget one of, if not the greatest president, George Washington, who was not only the president, but he helped form the United States. It's its first president. And he was instrumental in winning the war for our peace, for our independence. And in George Washington's farewell address to Congress, he emphasized that the United States should avoid being drawn into conflicts and political disputes. And as a combat veteran, got the little thing up there that says I'm a combat veteran. I've witnessed not only the tragedies of death in war, but seeing the complete waste and the expense of war. The equipment that soldiers have is very, very expensive. The cost of feeding an army is in the field, very, very expensive. Who makes the money on that? The people who make the weapons and all the equipment that goes with it. That's a lot of money. And it's guaranteed payment, guaranteed profits. The more expensive you make the equipment, the more money you make. War is a big, big business. Nobody compares with it. And it's just that it's a time that we really have to, there's not a need to war in many cases, most cases. And especially in these prolonged wars, the people are going to, the natives of the countries that the people live in are going to, imperialism is over. There's no more British Empire, no more American Empire. They're diminishing. The people in the rightful countries are going to be making and are making their own stands to take it back. And we should not be spending our borrowed money and efforts making our country as a supplier of weapons for the rest of the world. My opinion. We should be spending our money, our borrowed money, making our country great again, our highways better, our bridges repaired. Great for our people, not destroying bridges, not destroying highways, not destroying buildings and equipment and lives. We should be living with peace with our neighbors, living like good neighbors throughout the world, helping solve problems, not add fuel to the fire, creating worse problems. I believe that America should be an example to the world to show that we're good neighbors, working and living with other good neighbors of the world. Chinese are more interested in making products like the Russians are making products, like the French are, the English, the Americans. We want to have jobs for our families, our children, our grandchildren, making life better for other people. And this is possible. And now we all thought that we were going to have that starting in America. And perhaps we have, but we have to make sure that we're following the right path. It seems that we're faced with the Epstein and the problems that are going on in Washington that we thought was going to be a clean sailing ship, ends up being with a lot of sails fluttering in the breeze. And it appears, and we don't hope it is, but that we're faced with the same old government, that we're denied an open and honest government. There's no shining light on the hill, as Ronald Reagan used to say. Well, he said, America is the shining light on the hill. But there is no shining light on the hill if the light of truth is extinguished. Truth is so important. Open honesty is so important. Tucker Carlson was fired from his job because he told the truth. Don Bongino walked away from his popular podcast because he told the truth, and was rewarded by giving a task in the FBI to continue the truth. And apparently he ran into a roadblock there. I know when I was in business, I used to say to our staff or whatever that as bad as the truth is, I can handle the truth. We can deal with the truth. As difficult as it is. And I found in life that I sometimes don't make a lot of friends by telling the truth. But it is me. And I find that people do respect the truth. And we can solve the problems. But in business, I could not work with dishonesty. It leads to misinformation, theft, other problems, but it causes fear, doubt, and as a result, employees and management makes poor decisions with dishonest information. We've been through enough dishonest government for decades. We need the facts and honesty. As difficult as it is, as horrible as it is, and we need more of it. And to do that requires real courage. I hope that we made the right decision in Donald Trump. And I trust that we have. But we're not going to, as a people, as the MAGA group, say we disliked dishonest politicians. And then we put on the field a team of dishonest politicians and a government run by secret decrees and the like, as John Fitzgerald Kennedy pointed out. It's in the light that we learn the truth. The darkness, we experience the evil. And the sun is out, and it'll be getting dark in a while. So that's the end of this Thoughts of John. Thank you, and Paul Harvey would say, good day.